In this world, scientists bring a 35,000-year-old Neanderthal back to life. William, the young modern Neanderthal, begins his journey on a ferry boat, staring at the sea with a curious gaze. Inside the ferry, his unusual features draw attention. We're then transported to a lecture by Professor Julian Reed, which feels more like a class on how to be a snob. He describes Neanderthals as stupid brutes and praises the practices of Sir Francis Galton, who judged intelligence based solely on appearance. In a Jurassic Park-esque moment, the professor reveals that the only non-fossilized remains of a Neanderthal were discovered by his boss on campus. They named the specimen William, because, of course, who needs creativity when you can honor a 19th-century Irishman? Scientist Barbara Sullivan, driven by a mix of scientific curiosity and medical ambition, pitches a bold idea to Professor Reed. Let's clone William. After a revelation-filled dinner, the two decide that bringing a Neanderthal to life will either be a groundbreaking achievement or their biggest regret. Amid ethical debates and threats of being fired, the project moves forward in secret. Eventually, Barbara takes the unthinkable step. She carries the embryo herself. After months of waiting and an impromptu wedding in Nevada, because, of course, a Neanderthal baby deserves married parents. Baby William is born, much to the horror of the nurses. The university president, eyes gleaming with media opportunities, decides to turn the baby into a walking PR campaign. Fast forward 18 years, and William is in the prime of life or awkwardness. He moves to a house in the middle of nowhere, courtesy of his mother, who hugs him warmly before leaving him with his father, Julian. While exploring his new home, William discovers a Neanderthal artifact on display, as if to say, "You're special, but let's make you even more uncomfortable." A friendly neighbor, Sarah, shows up to break the ice, while Julian makes sure to point out that William needs 20% more calories to survive, because even dinner is a biology lesson. Julian and Barbara clash over how to raise William, leading to a divorce. She believes the lab is a cage, while Julian thinks she's lost her scientific edge. At its core, it's just an argument over who knows best how to raise the first modern Neanderthal. During a lecture, Julian talks about William's cultural impact and the public's initial disappointment. They expected a grunting brute, but got a teenager with a higher IQ than theirs. As an adult, William faces unique challenges, from learning to laugh at jokes to being chased by bullies in the forest. Spoiler: not only does he escape, but the bullies learn a hard lesson about Neanderthal strength. The ethical dilemma peaks when William begins questioning who he is. While researching Neanderthals, he discovers less than flattering descriptions. Meanwhile, his father grows jealous of Barbara's new boyfriend, while William grapples with the classic dilemma of choosing between studying opera with a girl or camping with friends. Hint: he picks the tent but promises to help the girl later. This conflict sums up William's life, one foot in the Neanderthal world, the other trying to understand the peculiarities of Homo sapiens. Something I definitely wouldn't do in this story is bring a Neanderthal to a dinner party. Imagine the conversations. What I would do is encourage William to use his strength for good, perhaps becoming a hero like in Bicentennial Man. A fascinating aspect of the story is how it explores modern prejudices through a being from the past. But now, after an unusual encounter with two hippies by a campfire, who were more shocked than Marty McFly meeting his own parents, Will revealed his Neanderthal origins. The girl, with the typical curiosity of someone asking if you missed the Stone Age, discovered that Will sometimes dreams of returning to his time. However, he had more modern concerns, like helping Judy rehearse her lines for the school play. The play's finale brought a kiss that ended as poorly as the Titanic. Judy dashed Will's hopes after the curtain fell. Meanwhile, Julian and Barbara were in heated debate over William's future during a meeting about his struggles with standardized tests. Barbara wanted him to stay on the island with a modest job, while Julian, with grander ambitions, envisioned Will as the key to solving global medical mysteries. After much arguing, and Will being treated like a hot potato, he decided he would only attend university if he earned his spot on merit. Julian was thrilled and offered to help, but Will's progress was slow. The peak of the tragedy came on test day, when Will, in a fit of prehistoric strength, broke 2 pencils in a row. After storming out of the room, He wandered the city, facing curious stares and laughter. In the height of irony, he visited the remains of the Neanderthal he was cloned from. There, he had a philosophical moment. If even this ancestor doesn't belong here, maybe I don't either. Meanwhile, Sarah, his loyal friend, and perhaps more, led a rescue effort. Will made a dramatic entrance by crashing one of Julian's lectures, interrupting a speech about how he was a walking failure. After a fiery exchange, Will made it clear that he wasn't a guinea pig, but someone searching for belonging. The situation spiraled out of control, culminating in a physical and social clash that ended with Will fleeing as though being hunted by stormtroopers. Amid flashbacks of his tumultuous childhood, Will met a tragic end, presumably killed by the police. Heartbreaking, or, depending on your mood, something even Hans Zimmer's soundtrack couldn't save. Years later, we see Sarah visiting Will's origin site, holding a baby, possibly his child. Despite Will's struggles to find his place in the world, he left behind a new generation, symbolizing that not all was lost. Finally, if William were real, how do you think society would react to a Neanderthal living among us? Now, here's a fantastic video where a prison janitor becomes the leader of the Yakuza. See you there.
And I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect.